Hello and welcome to another episode of the Knit.Purl.Repeat YouTube channel. My name is Jess and I'm coming to you from Southwest Florida. The channel is mainly about knitting, but occasionally there's some spinning, crochet, and sewing included. So if you'd like to join me for a little chat, then please grab a project and get comfortable. This is episode 16. Welcome back. For all my returning guests, visitors, thank you so much for taking some time out of your day to come on back and hang out with me for a while we chat about whatever I've got on the menu today. The menu, whatever's happening today. Yeah, this is how it's going to be today. If you're new here, welcome. Thank you so much for stopping by. Just to catch you up, a little bit of admin. If you're new here, you will find my contact information both up here on the screen, hopefully should be along here somewhere, as well as in the description box for this episode. So it'll be my contact information and hopefully links to any of my Ravelry project pages for things I talk about today, or links to the designers or patterns below. It is Wednesday, Wednesday, March 12th, 2025. I actually recorded a video on Monday, but I don't know. Was it because our time change? It was Monday. It was thunderstorms in the morning. I don't know what, but I had so many things to edit. It went way too long. I said the wrong things over and over. So I thought, you know what? Let's just wait and start over. So here we are today. I'm hopefully going to get through this relatively faster than my previous one, but I can't guarantee it. If you're returning, you know I can talk. Not necessarily that I should, but I can. Anyway, so get ready. I don't really know how long this is going to be, but we're going to dive in. There will be timestamps in the description box, so feel free to jump around, choose your own adventure with the episode. So I am actually going to start with what I'm wearing, and it's not any apparel, it's an accessory. This is some knitted cotton sweater from Old Navy or something, I don't know. What I'm wearing object are on my feet. So I'm going to show you these. Not very nice way to show it, I'm sure, but there you go. I can still get my leg up there. Let me take one off for you and show you these socks. These are the back to the 80s socks. It is a DK weight pattern. It is a pattern from the Sock Knitters Club, which is Karen and Melina, and they are on Ravelry. I'll link their Ravelry store below. Oof, if I go too fast, there is a gear icon that you can click on below this video and slow me down or speed me up, whatever. Right, so this is DK weight, and this the leg is done in brioche. So it is a cuff down construction. And so I chose for the main color to be this speckled yarn, which is Hank's Soft DK. Sorry, trying to look at my notes here on the Ravelry page because I can't remember. Both these colors are Hank's Soft DK from Hank's Yarning Company. And I think they're located up in Michigan. And the colors, it does say, I can't read it. Enid and Wednesday. So this is from the, in inspiration of the Wednesday Netflix TV series for Wednesday Addams. So I chose to do the multicolored one, which is Enid, because it's colorful. And then the black, which is Wednesday, as a contrast color. So I can show you the inside as well. All right, so there's the inside of the brioche. So if you've never done brioche, this is in the round. this might be something you'd like to give a try on. I mean, it's a sock, right? Hats and socks. So it's meant to be slouchy, so like a leg warmer, kind of slouchy, and a bit of the athletic stripes, which I love. I made these in, what year was this? 2023, the fall of 2023. I couldn't believe it was a year and a half ago that I made these. Yeah, so that's what I'm wearing today as what I'm wearing. Okay, here we go. Okay. So I do have a couple of finished objects since my last episode. So the previous episode was a bit of a special episode where I felt like recording, but I hadn't done a lot of any work on anything I could show you because we had visitors for 2 weeks. So I showed you that massive collection of whips. We'll talk a little bit about that later. So I did finish, let me start again. Our visitors left last Thursday night. So Friday then I could resume knitting, but I needed to finish the test knit, the pair of socks for Nancy Wheeler. So those got finished. I can't show them to you yet until the pattern is published. So as soon as that happens, I'll show you mine and talk about those. So I finished the test knit and then went back to working on some of my other works in progress, which I'll show you the updates, just some quick updates on those. Quick updates on those. Sorry, I'm sitting on the cushion because there's a bit of a hole in the sofa. So if I wiggle around a bit, I apologize. So anyway, I do have the 2 finished objects. My point is, since the last time I had a regular kind of episode, so that should have been episode 14. I think. So it is my pair of socks from the Farmer's Daughter Fibers. I should say my second pair of socks. So, which one is that? You could tell, I think. Oh yeah, you can see which is which. So these are the Indoorsy Socks pattern, which is a free pattern from Sandra Yarn Co. I will link that in the description box. February was a short month, so 28 days. I wanted to make my Farmer's Daughter Fibers 2025 Sock Squad socks DK, so they'd be quick and they'd be done, and then I could get my gnome finished. And as I talked about in previous episode, I knew I was going to play Yarn Chicken. Well, no, I knew I was going to run out of the mohair. So you hold, in that pattern, you hold a strand of fingering weight sock yarn with a strand of silk mohair or lace weight mohair to get this nice fluffy cozy socks. And I knew I was going to run out of the scrap of mohair. I thought I'd calculated things correctly and that I would get farther along than I did before I ran out, but I ran out, and you'll be able to see here, because there's difference in color, I ran out right here on sock number 2. And I found some Drops Kid Silk mohair on Etsy. I couldn't find the color, an olive green color, so I went with this one, which is chocolate. And it's not too bad. It blows it out more, of course, in the camera. You can see that obviously we've gone more to this warmer bronze, but it's not too bad back here. So look at it from there, right? It's not bad from afar. So this was my second pair in February. I didn't get the yarn until I think at the end of the month, so they almost got finished by the end. And so I ended up with 2 pairs of socks. These were the other ones I showed last time with using the contrast mini that came with the set. So I actually got 2 pairs of socks out of the shortest month of the year. And in addition to that, I also did make my gnome for February. So if this is your first time here, I'll just recap. Every month I am using the leftover yarns from the Farmer's Daughter Fiber Sock Squad set to knit up a gnome using one of the patterns from Imagined Landscapes, which is Schira. She has a year-long gnome knit-along using one of her patterns, and so my goal is to use my Sock Squad yarn for the month before the end of the month, and then with the leftovers also get a gnome made out of it. So if you go back to 2 episodes ago, you'll see my gnome from January. And so I did make one for February. Again, I think I talked about this for future plans before, but shortest month, smallest gnome. I thought those two went together. That one actually worked out. However, I couldn't use any of the main color from the set because I made 2 pairs of socks and there wasn't any left over to make the smallest gnome. Before I show you what it looks like for size comparison, I thought I'd quickly show you this gnome. So this is the first gnome I made, and this was the mystery gnome along, also by Schira. This is called, his name is Noki, and I apologize because I thought I had my page ready to go. I'm just gonna quick look it up. Hold on, please. So this was the mystery knit along number 9, which was in 2022, and it was called Make Gnome Mistake, and this gnome's name is Noki. So there's my hand for scale. So he has this lovely colorwork hat with mushroom on both sides, and then the body is a little bit different. Instead of being rounded, there's some color work here along the bottom, and he has a rectangular base. Mine is obviously skewed. Anyway, rectangular base, a little bit of a knotted and fringed, crimped looking beard, and the little Noki shaped nose. So Noki is a chef in the story. Yeah, so that's him for comparison. And so for February, we were talking about February, I made Noodles, who is the smallest gnome and is a bit disheveled at the moment, but there's the size comparison, right? They're both made in fingering weight yarns. Let me put down Noki. I used the contrasting mini from the February set since I had a lot of that. And then I had to use, I chose the main color from January to knit the hat. And then this was stashed yarn in here. So that is Noodles, the smallest gnome. So also a pattern by Schira. So adorable. Love that one. Okay, so those are my 2 finished objects that I can show you for this month. So let's move on to works in progress. At least what have I been working on since, well, starting Friday last week. So today's Wednesday, so last Friday, because that's really been when I've been able to pick up and work on things. So I will first just show you my progress on the Prairie Skies sweater. I've talked about this a lot, so I just want to show you though an update. So I have got down to where I'm about ready to split for the hem. So it does have a split hem, a slight high-low hem. You don't have to do it that way, but I'm almost there. But I did, when I ran out of yarn there, I picked up to do the neck. So it's a 1x1 rib with a central double decrease. I did knit this neckband twice because I wasn't paying attention and I didn't do my decrease right. I didn't start the slip 2 stitches together, etc. 1 stitch before the center. I did it starting at the center. So it was, it was wrong. Fortunately, I hadn't woven in my end, so I just ripped back and started again. So because you're picking up stitches from this edge of the granny squares, that was fine. It was easy just to rip back, pick up again. So it's a 1x1 knitted top with the central decrease. And I just did a somewhat stretchy bind off. The pattern calls for a tubular or sewn bind off, which I would have done. It's my preferred bind off. Not the tubular part, but I just do the sewn bind off. However, because this is recycled polyester, I didn't want that friction of pulling the yarn in and out as you sew it. So I just went for binding off in pattern, but somewhat loosely, so it has stretch, but not too much stretch that it's going to, hopefully it won't stretch out and then start slipping down one shoulder or the other. So making progress here. I just need to do the split hem and ribbing and then pick up and do the sleeves. However, I enjoy working on this and I want to keep going, and I might, if I'm looking for some basic round around knitting that I need, if my brain just can't cope with anything else. But it is a DK worsted weight sweater, and you know, we're in March and I'm in Florida and I'm not likely going to need anything like this, although it was 50 degrees this morning. So it's still been a bit cool, but I'm not gonna wear it anytime soon. And there are other whips, especially if you saw last week, that I really want to get finished and things that are more useful, or get them finished and gift them. So this needs to go away for a little bit and hibernate, right? So unless I need that mindless knitting of stockinette, because that's all that's left here, except for the ribbing. Right, so that's the Prairie Skies sweater. You will hear about that again, but hopefully not for a while, right? Not for a while. I need to get other things done. Okay, so the other active whip I've been working on is in this bag. Oh, and this actually brings up, so I did mention, let me back up, that this channel is mostly about knitting, right? I consider myself a knitter who does other things. One of those other things is sewing. Mainly I sew quilts, machine quilting, so not hand quilting. I've said it before, I am not a hand sewist. I don't enjoy it. Kudos to you who can do that. I don't have the patience for hand sewing. I don't enjoy it. And I'm not expert or anything at sewing, but quilting I love. Doing quilts, I'm trying to make clothing. That's something I really need to work on. But anyway, back to this bag. So this bag I purchased off of Amazon. I was totally inspired by Ruth from Ruth Loves to Knit podcast, because she's shown her this bag several times, and she's right, it's fantastic. It is listed as a knitter's project bag or something like that. It's great. I won't go into a lot of detail, but it has this nice zipper on the front with a plastic or PVC lining on the inside. It's like you would get in a cosmetic bag. It has big pockets, so it has a pocket that takes up the entire inside on the back. And then on the other side, it has the same length panel, but it's been sewn into smaller sections. And it has a little hook to be able to hook your stuff onto, stitch markers, whatever. And it comes with this little it's like a cosmetic bag, but as a knitter's bag, I'll call it an ocean's pouch, because that's what that is. So it also has the same plastic lining on it, which I think is great, so nothing is getting into your yarn. So my point of talking about this bag, other than it's just cute, is that this is the only thing it's missing. At the top is any kind of closure, and I want to bring this on the airplane as my personal item. So I want a closure. So I'm gonna need to find a similar style zipper, and I'm going to sew it in underneath the edge here along the straps on the inside, so that I have a nice zip closure, and I won't lose my stuff all over the airplane, trains, whatever it is. So that's my plan. So a little bit of sewing content today. Not really, but plans, plans for sewing. But what is in here is crochet. Okay. I'm also not going to spend a lot of time catching you up if you're new here, because people that have been here several times don't want to hear me repeat the story. But let me just say that I had 3 hanks of yarn purchased for another project that I decided I didn't really like it for that project after swatching. It was a knitted project. It just wasn't what I was looking for. So I just on a whim decided to gauge swatch for the Amiata pullover, which is a pattern from Nomad Stitches. And it just turned out that, oh, I got gauge and I love this fabric. I need to make this sweater in this yarn, but I didn't have enough of it. And the website was sold out of it, and it's still sold out of stock. They still haven't restocked the color I needed. So anyway, I got a ball off of eBay. It's a very different color, different lot number, but I was able to get 2 more hanks from someone off Ravelry at a super great price, which also included the shipping. And so I washed it, dried it, did all the things just to make sure that it was moth-free, things like that, right? So it's ready to go. And I'll put a picture up here of the 2 hanks along with the knitted project. I didn't see, even in the camera, any noticeable color difference, even though they're different lot numbers. And I figured that's a really good sign, because If the camera would pick up a difference, I may not see it, but if the camera doesn't see a difference, then I don't think my eyes will see it either. So anyway, I have 2 more. Actually, I probably have too much now. That's not a bad thing, but anyway. The yarn is Valley Yarns, by Valley Yarns, and it's called Charlemont. It is a merino silk nylon blend. I think it's Bombyx silk, which I don't remember if that's the one that's not such a great thing to use. I can't remember. Anyway, it's too late now. I have the yarn. It is glorious. It is in the color Mulberry, which is color number 4, and here it is. So my progress, I have finished the body with the exception of the ribbed hem. So, so I did the split and then I worked I didn't do any extra length here. So the pattern gives you instructions and examples of after you split here, how to split, how many stitches to leave, and then how many rows to knit straight, it's crochet. To crochet straight if you want to make this longer before you do the curved hem. I did not extend the front of the sweater. So I crocheted this to the length that I liked. I tried it on, and then the pattern tells you after you do this extra curved hem and the ribbing, that's going to add another 3.5 inches to the front. So I took that into consideration when I tried it on. And then so that I would get roughly around 12.5 inches for the front. And then you do this curve, so you decrease stitches for a while so that you get this curved hem on the side. And then you do the same for the back. For the back, I did knit a couple more row pairs before I started the decreases. I did want the more high-low hem effect, so it would come down a little bit longer across the back. So the back hem will add, from the split, adds, you would add whatever you knit here, will be a total of 4 inches longer. So I did try it on, and it fits really nicely. It does have a nice positive ease in the body. The sleeves are not too tight, which I was worried about for my upper arm. The fit is really nice, so I think the sleeve will fit very nicely, and it's not going to be as much ease as the body, so it won't look too sloppy like you're drowning in a giant garment, which, you know, if that's the look you're going for, that's great, but it's not the look I was going for here. So I've made a lot of progress. So I did this Saturday and Sunday, and then a little bit last night. I suppose into Monday and Tuesday a little bit. I did from about here all the way down to here. Took me Friday and Saturday to do. It is fingering weight yarn, and I am using a 2.25 millimeter crochet hook. So that's a lot of work, and it's a mixture of single rows of single crochet, double crochets, and double crochet cluster stitches to make this really pretty pattern that's on here. So that is what I've been working on, and so now I'm ready to do the sleeves and the hem, but I think, as I like to do, same with the other sweater, I think I might pick up and work on the neck first so that I get the correct length then for the sleeves. So it'll sit properly up here and I'll get the right sleeve length. In the pattern, it has you do all the parts first and then do all the ribbing at the end. I am planning to do the ribbing knitting and rather than crochet, but I have to look through the pattern. I think that's going to be possible. I still want to get that effect that the crochet version has, but it should turn out all right. In knitting, I just have to figure out, because in crochet, you work rows sideways like this. Of course, knitting, you just work around to get the ribbing effect. So I just have to take a look at that. So I'm very happy about that. I'm very happy about the color choices. One last time, because I did start somewhere in here on my little ends. I did start, oh, there it is, the new ball of yarn from the Person Off Ravelry right about here. So I don't see any color difference in there. So I'm very happy with that. So this one, I definitely want it done because I want to take it on our travels at the end of May We are going across the pond, so the Atlantic Ocean, over to the UK to see family who live in London, see my in-laws. They're in their early to mid 90s, so take the grandkids over, right? Take our kids and need to go spend some time with them. And our visit friends who are over there. And then we're doing a side trip to go visit our friend and explore Ireland. So my husband and I went to Ireland and stayed with his friends there back in 2005. So it is our, right after we got married. And so it is our 20th wedding anniversary in April. So it actually works out pretty well that we're gonna go to Ireland. So that includes the Republic of Ireland and Northern Ireland. Spend some time in each of those places, going where we haven't been before. Anyway, we'll be on the coast and it'll be windy. I'm sure there'll be rain. So having a nice long sleeve, something to pop on will be needed. So I'm looking forward to that. So this will be something I will keep working on actively. Okay. Now my next work in progress is also a new cast on, and it is my March socks for the Farmer's Daughter Fibers sock squad. So this was the inspiration art for this month. It's called Inky Snake. It's on the Highwood sock base. This month's yarn is inspired by the beauty we can find in the unsuspecting. And boy, is that right. Unsuspecting is a good description. I was just going to show you the Highwood base information. Highwood sock, so that's the one down here. So I have used this before. It's a really nice twist, plump, fingering weight yarn. So I add 400 yards per 100 grams. And the unsuspecting part, based on conversations I've seen, mostly on the Ravelry group for the sock squad, but also on the Discord group, is similar to my thinking. Is I was hoping and thinking that, ooh, maybe it's going to be a black with speckles or a turquoise with black speckles and other things, right? Something kind of like that. I was really looking forward to that idea. And so I started looking at the pattern ideas they gave and to give me a clue, because I like to guess. It was not. It was not what I was suspecting it to be. Not bad, but not what I was suspecting. So let me show you. I've already started the socks, so I'll show you that. So this is the sock set. So this is called Inky Snake. So that's, it's not what you would expect, right? This is the contrast mini. Maybe you can see on here better the twist in the yarn. I don't know if you can, or you're just seeing my wrapped up ball. It's wrapped up like this because I had started knitting a different sock pattern than the one I'm currently making. And so I started knitting a stripy cuff using the blue with some black stripes. I'll show you up here. But then once I was going to add this in, I realized that's too much contrast, there's too much going on. I'm not caring for this look. So I scrapped that and was trying to figure out what I wanted to do. And I recalled that, so I'm looking down to get my books, move my gnomes. I recalled that, hey, I was thinking of making a pair of shamrock socks for March. Right, for St. Patrick's Day kind of thing, spring. And I was going to make these socks by Stone Knits from the Joyful Colorwork Socks book by Charlotte Stone. I was planning to just use a little bit, just maybe 1 or 2 bits of the motif here, and then do a bunch of stripes and things down, similar to what she has with one of her other patterns in her Charming Colorwork Socks book. And then it dawned on me, why don't I merge this yarn with that idea of making shamrock colorwork socks? So I saw people had posted pictures right at the beginning of March on Ravelry. So I'm glad I didn't look ahead of time, because I didn't receive my yarn until March 4th. It was delayed by the post office. And I wanted to be surprised, and I was. But if I had looked on Ravelry, then I would have seen the pictures already. people in the Discord group are putting up spoilers so that you don't actually see it unless you tap on the picture. So I'm pretty secure about going there and looking at what people are saying, what they're thinking, patterns they're thinking about. But once I got the yarn and went on Ravelry, I wanted to see what people were making as well. See how it knits up, look at the color work. Oh, the color work looked really good. So let me show you what I've done. I basically then designed my own shamrock because there were things about that pattern from Charlotte Stone that if I only did one wraparound, I didn't really like where the placement of the little other motif was high, and I just thought, there was just something about it that didn't sit right. So I took some ideas of some basic shamrock patterns and then modified them to make these. So that's my pattern. In a few places you get pooling like this, you get the sort of micro striping, which I don't mind, but I don't think it takes away from the shamrock effect. So I've done it with a 3-leaf clover, and then just put these little crosses in between, and so you get 4 of them around the sock. And so what I did is I cast on 72 stitches, and I did a 2x1 rib, and then I knit that for, I think, 10 rounds, knit plain 3 rounds, and then did my shamrock color work. I did not change needles. I'm using 2.25 millimeter magic loop. Magic loop is everywhere except in the color work. I did use some small circulars just because it makes it nicer on the edges. You don't get gappy effects that can sometimes happen with magic loop. I could also have done continuous loop, but I had a set of small circulars, so I just went for those. I think they're about 10 inches where one of the needles is longer than the other one, which helps my hands, but my hands don't normally like small circulars, so that's why I do magic loop. Once I got done with that motif, then I switched back to magic loop, and I just knit straight until I had 4 inches for the entire leg. Then I did a slip stitch heel flap, the heel turn, and gusset, and now I'm on the gusset decreases. Actually, I finished last night the gusset decreases, and now I'm working on the foot. And I think I'm just gonna go straight to the end because I wanna save the contrast color to make my next gnome. So yes, I'm modifying what I do with my socks so I can make a gnome. I want to make sure I have enough yarn left over. The estimates that Sarah gives in her patterns for the gnomes, so far I found that I haven't used as much as is there, but just to be safe, so I don't play gnome chicken, yarn chicken. No, that doesn't make sense. I'm trying to say, I was trying to be clever. Let's not do that. Okay. Anyway, I think I'll just go straight, and I don't know if I'll do the tone contrast color. I suppose I could do the gnome and make sure I have enough for the gnome, which I'll talk about in a moment. But I'm very happy with those. So hopefully the next time we meet and have a chat, I'll have a pair of socks done, since this is nice, easy, round and round down to the toe. Okay, so that's my last whip, but also new cast on. So let's talk about acquisitions and future plans. For my birthday, which was the end of February, the very last day, I decided to very much treat myself to some luxury yarn. And I was totally enabled by Lisa of Unwind and Knit with Me. She has a YouTube channel here and a website as well. She is a knitter in New Zealand, and she has an online shop there. She imports, or she's a distributor for a lot of yarns that come from Europe. So, which is great, I think, especially for people in Australia and New Zealand to have access to those without all those shipping costs and things. Anyway. Why am I babbling about this? I don't know. I just think it was a great idea for her to start that. Anyway, Lisa is a major pattern buying enabler for me. I don't think she realizes that, but it's because she likes a lot of the same patterns I do in similar colors. So yeah, it can be dangerous for me to watch her episode because I get overly inspired. But It wasn't the pattern that she inspired me to purchase, because I already had it in my favorites in my queue. And that is the Art Nouveau sweater. I'll put a picture up here. It is a pattern by Eleanor Mortensen. Let me just take a look at it. And I had seen this for a while. I'd seen several other people knit it and showed on their YouTube channels or on Instagram. And I really love that color work in the yoke. And what sold me on it from watching Lisa's episode was the yarn she chose to do hers in and the colors. So I am 100% copying Lisa's yarn and colors. Lisa, we're going to be twinning. From you in New Zealand to me here in Florida. We will twin. So the yarn, and I don't have the label here for it, so I'll put it up on the screen, is, I have to look at it because last time I recorded, I said the wrong name. It's Fior di Lino by Mayak Fibers. It is a mixture of, I'm going to put it up here, I'm going to try to remember it, Tibetan wool, it's the Tibetan cloud wool, baby yak, and linen, I believe. Anyway, what sold me on it was the color combinations were gorgeous. And also Lisa's plug for it being good for kind of a summer weight t-shirt or sweater, since it's summer still down there in New Zealand. Obviously, it's not a summer weight so much for me here in Florida, because once you add on humidity, yeah. But, you know, I do remember the color names, and this is what Lisa used as well. So I'm using these 3 colors. So it only calls for 2 colors, I think, in the pattern. I did look through it a bit, where you could do a main color and then a color changing yarn throughout, or you can do 3 colors. I can't remember which ones it actually asked for. But this is going to be my main color. So this is the color graphite. So yeah, same. Basically a very, very dark gray, not quite black. So that's my main color. And then for the contrast colors, I'm going to use these 2. So this is Pink Cosmos and this is Butternut. And it actually does say in the chart, it for the 2 colors of where to change it, so that you have sort of the motif above and then the main band section another color and then the same color below. So those are kind of mirrored. So that's what I'm going to do. You can check out Lisa's Instagram, because she did a before and after blocking photo as well, and it looks amazing. I am going to do the short sleeve version, even though I know I've said if I'm going to do something like that, then let's put on the long sleeves. But because of the fiber and because it's so lightweight and because of the price point of this yarn, I did want to treat myself, just not too much, right? Not to insanity levels. I only bought enough that'll probably just get me the short sleeve. I don't have enough to do longer sleeves. So that's my plan. So that's an upcoming cast on. I've started a swatch, but really I was swatching for, and I'm still going because I haven't been working on that. There we are. So I didn't really swatch so much for the colors. I did a little bit of the chart just to see how they looked. Can't really tell that much. Anyway, I was really going for the fabric so that I can figure out the size for the sweater, and I'm really liking how it's turning out on the pattern size needles. So I am going to make this taller, knit for a while, a few more inches, and then block it and see what I think. So that is something coming up. So hopefully I can work on that over the next week, because starting Saturday, we're on spring break here in our county. So that means that my college is closed for the week and my high schoolers are also off school for the week. So I'm hoping to get making done, but I could be playing referee. So we'll see with the kids, the teenage boys. Help, send help. Anyway, I should be doing a lot of making, because I'm going to need that stress relief, right? Work it out into the stitches. Anyway, so that's my plan for future work. Other and acquisitions. So I bought this from a shop in Minnesota called Bee Woolen online. So I'll link them below as well. And, oh, acquisitions. Okay, 40 minutes. No, let's wrap it up. So as part of the Patreon group for Cocktail Hour at the Coop, so they have a YouTube channel here, Liz and Leanne, and as part of the Patreon group, we did a swap where we signed up and got randomly matched up with each other for those in the group who want to participate in the Beat the Winter Blues swap. So we did a yarn and book swap. So we shopped our stash, and you just needed to send one hank of yarn and one book. So you didn't have to buy anything new. You could just take whatever's in your stash. And so based on information we shared with each other about our likes and dislikes, we did that. So I mean, anybody that chose me, I know I would love whatever they would do. Some people go overboard and crazy with what they send. And anyway, I received my swap materials from Leanne from Cocktail Art at the Coop. She is amazing. They're all amazing makers. But so what I got was this bag that Leanne made. It is linen, and she hand stitched this. So the sashiko was her new to you technique that she learned during their new to you make along that ended at the end of February. So I was so fortunate to get one of these bags with the nice little ties. I love it so much, so much. You know, you make anything handmade, you give to a maker is great. Yeah, you just can't, you treasure, like nobody touch my bag. It is sacred to me. I'll talk about what's inside in a moment. And this is the book that I received. So I don't know, we listed our genres of things that we liked. And so I've never heard of this. I started reading it. It's an interesting read so far. I love the colors as well. I mean, look at all the colors. She knows my colors. She knows I love her colors that she chooses. And I did start reading it, so I gotta take that out. And she even made me a bookmark. Look at that. And you should have seen the wrapping, even the packaging. She's fantastic graphic designer. And a card and some goodies. So I got some dark chocolate and some crackers. I can't show that to you because I've already started eating it. But the yarn. Okay, Leanne, this is not one skein of yarn. This is 3, Leanne, 3. And I love them, but it's 3. I'm gonna take it. I don't know what they're gonna be yet. Look at these gorgeous, gorgeous hanks, skeins, whatever, hanks of yarn. Oh, so these 2 are from Sweet Sparrow Yarns. I love her yarns. She is one of the first indie dyer subscriptions that I've purchased. So this is Stormy Sea on her Robin base. So there are 2 of these. So you get, it's the sport weight, 328 yards per 100 grams. So there's 2 of these in this lovely tonal blue. And along with that, Legacy Fiber Arts. I've only once knit with their yarn. I just gifted a shawl to somebody with this. This is on the Steel Toes base, which is a 4-ply fingering weight, 75-25 superwash merino nylon in the color Octopus's Garden. Look at that, speckles and variegation. So, ooh, yeah. These, I'm guessing these will be a shawl. It's probably not a surprise. You know me, but a shawl for this. Although this could be a really pretty like color work top. Oh, maybe this needs to be another Zweig. What do you think? Shawl or Zweig? If you do a Zweig, it's not going to use up much of this. So I'd have a lot left over. Sweater or shawl? Let me know what you think. All right, so gorgeousness, I love all of it. And every time I work with this material or look at these things, it makes me remember how lovely and generous that is for someone to give you something that is handmade, especially. All right, we're at 45 minutes, so I'm not going to talk about anything else. We'll save it for next time. I'm not sure if I'll be here in the next week. So normally I've been doing about 7 to 10 days, probably around 10 days for recording. But because it is spring break next week, I'm not sure about time. I will be doing spring cleaning, and I'm going to be downsizing all kinds of stuff in my closet, not yarns, but everything else. Getting rid of those things that you don't wear, don't fit, don't use, whatever it might be. I'm also going to attempt on Fridays to do Finish It or Frog It Fridays, along with Yana from Finished Knitting Stories, where I will tackle that pile of whips I showed you last week and take something out and either work on it or grab one of my items that I'm supposed to be frogging and actually rip it out and deal with the yarn and put it away. So that's my plan. Let's see what happens. Thank you so much again for sitting here, visiting with me. I hope that you have lots of crafting coming up, or that at least you've been doing it, especially now with the climate in the world, that you're finding that time every day to give yourself a break and give yourself some rest, to deal with the situations that are going on, to just not have to think about any of that for a while. So I hope you've been able to do that either here with me or whatever you choose to do each day. Again, thank you so much for visiting with me. And if you would like to hear more from me again and be notified when I have new content, then please hit the subscribe button and the bell to be alerted to new episodes. I'd really like that. Thanks so much again, and until I see you next time, take care.